Okay, alright guys, welcome back to another awesome tutorial. So for this series, we are talking about something we call a password hash, which is a more secure technology that you can use whenever you are using your project, whenever you are using a password or any encrypted things that you are involved in your project. So we talked about password hash, okay? So for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make your own hashes rather than using the default one. So with that being said, let's directly jump into how to see this thing. So on the next on the previous tutorial, we talked about something we call a password hash. And for instance, I pass a password called Amayene, and as a second argument, I pass something we call a password default, or we can use something we call a password crypt. So if we came here and echo this thing out, this thing will return a hashed value. And we talked about this portion, which is 2y, is the algorithm name. Next is something we call a cost. Cost means like how hard your password could be. And the next part, we talked about something we call a salt, which is added to your hash to make your hash so much secured. And this portion was the equivalent of the hashed part of your password. So what we are going to see for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to change your cost, or how to change your salt, which will be this portion here. Okay, so first of all, let's try to change the salt. So salts are something that are added to your password to make your hashing to be more secured. So to change your hash by default, this is what PHP is returning for me, or the function that's called password hash returning for me. So think of a scenario that I don't want this thing happen, but rather I want to change the salt. So what I will do, I will make an array and I pass word called salt, and I will pass for instance like Yene here. So whenever I reload this thing, there will be an interesting error that you probably will encounter. So let's try to see it. It says provide salt too short, 7 expecting 22. So the minimum amount of salt that must be returned into your hash must be 22, the minimum. So if I passed an equivalent of maybe 22 characters, so probably my salt will be stronger. So if I passed a string like Mayene, so I guess this thing is 22 characters long. So let me save this thing, and if I came here and reload this page, you probably will see this thing. It will return this thing here. Okay, so okay, it's not showing me the salt because maybe I guess this thing is so much big. So let me try to just decrease some of the characters. So I guess this thing is 22. So let me try to see this thing, and yeah, it's returning. So instead of the default one, here my salt is changing into the one that I provide here, okay, which will be this string here. Okay, so but like using your own salt is quite risky, because most of the time this password hash function will do most of the works for you, that it will make your password stronger. So whenever you are doing salt, just be careful to make your salt stronger. So if you are not sure about your salt is stronger or not, just use this thing as default, okay, or cut this part. So the next part is something we call a cost. By default it is 10. 10 means like if you are having, for instance, like my computer here is having like maybe 2 GBs or something like that. So maybe like if I used a cost of maybe greater than 12 or 14, maybe my computer will crack, or it will not able to do this activity, because you're supposed to have a greater hardware whenever you are doing this thing. Probably when you are deploying your project, you may have a gray server or something like that. But to see that the default is 10, but if you want to increase your strengths, what you can do, you can pass cost, which will be equals to, for instance, like let me try to make this thing 12, and try to reload this thing, and look what will happen. You see, there is a little delay in my computer. There is a little delay that you cannot tell. But like if I am using like maybe a bigger numbers, like 14, the delay will be again more. It is delay. It's taking this thing a lot of time. You can see it. Okay, you see, it's taking a lot of time. Blink. This will happen. So this is what I want to teach you for you guys for this tutorial: how to change cost and how to change your salt to your own. So maybe on the next tutorial I will show you guys if you probably use like old Stone Age algorithms. I'm going to show you guys how to change those things without the user knowing this thing. So till we meet on the next tutorial, keep on liking, keep on subscribing, keep on sharing my videos with a friend. Peace and love. Ciao.